podcast will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Such a short notice, but I really appreciate your presence. A big round of applause, Mr. Vince Nantes.
Hey,
come on, guys.
Thank you for having me, man.
Thank you for being here. And it was so, the invitation was very informal.
Yeah, but that's cool. I like it that way.
Diba?
Yeah.
Thank you. I really
Real
appreciate
casual.
it. It was like, I was like, would you mind guessing on my podcast? No. I'm down. I'm like, okay. And here we are.
Yeah, I mean that's all it takes. All you got to do is ask. But thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here. I'm really full. Like the food was fantastic.
Tell that to Robin.
Good night.
Rivera. Our common friend is Robin Rivera.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that's the homie.
And normally when he's here, he's like, "Are you grilling some ribeye?" Yeah, for you, yeah. And now he's like, "We're having it for you without him."
Without him, yeah. So Robin, when you see this, it was fantastic.
And thank you for the drink.
Yes.
We're whiskeying it up tonight.
Yeah, we got a special little whiskey thing going on later. So
I like it.
I don't know if I should prepare or just
No, just let it flow.
let's go with it.
Now, Vince, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
But right now, as we are taping, you're in between states, right?
Yeah. So,
Tell us about that. What's going on in your personal life?
oh my God, it's a disaster. No, I'm just kidding. We meaning my wife and I, we decided to move back to Chicago. For those that do or don't know, I grew up there.
Okay.
I spent a chunk of my life here the past 7 years living in Los Angeles. Pilar has been here for 2. And so
Pilar is from the Philippines.
She is from the Philippines, yes. So
Wow.
yeah, I kidnapped her and brought her here. And so we decided to make that move. You know, that's where my family is. That's where kind of everything is really. So we decided to make that move. My mom was super excited. I think we're both excited too. I'm not ready for the cold, just because I have eczema and I like having my skin really soft.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting, but it's also kind of stressful.
Of course.
Just because we're packing up a whole bunch of stuff. We're trying to figure out what to keep, what to give away, what to sell, how to get organized. I don't even know where to begin. The apartment looks like it exploded, and it looks like
Because everything's been dismantled, right?
everything's been dismantled, taken out of cabinets. It looks like we made no progress.
Now, 7 years ago, you made the move from Chicago to LA.
Yes.
You are an artist. You're a songwriter.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a bit.
Sure.
You also sing.
Yes. Sometimes.
But what made you go to LA from Chicago?
Dreams.
Let's talk about that. When did your dreams begin?
I think I've always had that dream of being an artist and kind of make it in music. Obviously, when I was a kid, when I was in grade school, I was like, yeah, I want to be the first Filipino in the NBA. But then I wasn't really that tall. So I scratched that.
Okay.
Right?
But music was already in you.
Yeah, music was already in me. From as long as I can remember. My Lola, he would always, every single day when I was a kid, take me to the church and watch the children's choir sing.
Right. Were you part of the children's choir? No.
No, I wasn't, but that was like his ultimate dream. Like, you know how like a parent, she must, I want you to be a doctor. I want you I want you to be in stocks. My Lolas, I just want you to be in the children's choir.
Nice.
That's all he ever wanted. And so, as I was growing up as a kid, he would take me to these church to watch these children's choirs, and I didn't really think of anything at the time, but I just did it because my Lolo enjoyed it, and just time when my Lolo was cool, and he always played the guitar and sang. We always sang together, for what the little I remember and what my family told me. But it's always in my blood, and then my mom enrolled me in piano lessons when I was 6, and then I was singing in children's choirs.
Eventually
after that I was singing in choirs, and then it was just kind of always been instilled and enforced in my life. So it just kind of came natural.
Now, when you say it just came natural, you started out singing. When did the songwriting come about?
It wasn't until, like my junior year of high school. I was I was singing in grade school. I was playing the piano, but like I sang in grade school because it impressed the girls. So I was like, oh, the girls like it. So I started singing, right? And then I started doing talent shows, my freshman and my sophomore year in high school. But, between like the 6th grade and high school, like I kind of went through some shit. Sorry if I swore.
No. It's fine.
My Lolo died.
Oh, shoot.
Super huge inspiration in terms of music and just my life. And then my dad died.
Oh man, did it make you to throttle down with regard to your dream, or did it make you go forward?
It made me go forward, but it was a little bit delayed.
Okay.
Because I experienced death at such a young age. Like I didn't really know how to cope.
Yes. How many siblings do you have?
I'm actually adopted. So
how many of you are adopted?
Just me. Okay. So my dad's brother, on my dad's side. So my Lolo's on my mom's side. Yeah. My adopted mother's side. So my adoptive dad, his brother was my Lolo. So I kind of just got adopted into the same family. Usually how it goes, right?
Like my sister's like that.
Yeah.
I have a sister who's actually my cousin.
Yeah.
But I never knew that until we were older.
Yeah.
That we were actually cousins and not siblings. But
right.
we're like, no. We're siblings.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how it is. I've always known where I came from and who my family is. And I think
unlike JJ behind the camera doesn't even know how he started in existence.
Oh, really? It's okay. The guy up there.
Exactly. He mushroomed. He shroomed.
Aliens.
So, okay, but you found out at an early age.
Yeah, I've always known that.
There you go.
I've had like...
But then again, losing your dad.
Yeah.
Who's actually your dad. Right?
Yeah, so...
And your Lolo, yeah.
So, yeah, like, it was kind of like a ripple effect, they kind of passed away, within the same time frame of like me kind of just like, you're a boy making this transition into like high school and stuff, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Yes.
Like that's when you start figuring it out. So
being curious about stuff and no one to talk to with regard to.
Yeah, and in fairness, like no one knew how to cope.
Yeah.
Because it just happened so suddenly and kind of just so quickly that we all were kind of just scrambling to find our bearings, especially my mom. Now she's a single mother. So I found comfort in singing, aside from the girls. But I found comfort in singing and I enjoyed it.
But which one did you find? No, just kidding. Pilar is here in the house. Cheers, Pilar.
I was in grade school, so it's okay. It's okay. But when I hit high school, I got that outlet to be able to perform. I was singing in talent shows. A lot of people and friends that I hung out with supported me singing.
Who was your hero?
My hero, aside from my dad and my Lolo?
Like musical artist hero.
Musical artists, man. Stevie Wonder.
Were you trying to emulate Stevie Wonder?
I was not. I listened to a whole bunch of stuff. My cousins got me into rap music. I got in trouble for listening to rap music, obviously from the content, but like I loved it. My dad gave me like a 2-track cassette EP of like this group called Expose.
Really?
Yeah, I was listening to Tony Braxton. Like my music palette was really
Tony Braxton, Expose.
Yeah, it was really all over the place. Like,
Calling Me Bad.
I was listening to Blackstreet. I was listening to Tony Braxton. I was listening to Tony Bennett.
Nice.
But then I was listening to Bone Thugs and Harmony. So like my palette was.
Were you
everywhere.
dissecting? Were you just consuming them or dissecting them as you were consuming them?
The odd thing, now that I look back at it, like I don't think it was weird anymore. But every time I got attached to a song, I would listen to it front and back, and I would write the lyrics down. So I would like, I guess subconsciously, like I was starting to break out to become a songwriter.
Yes.
So every time like I had a song that I really attached to, I would write the lyrics down, and then when I finally like make the lyrics or write the lyrics down, like I would just sing along with it. Like that was my way of singing along. That was my karaoke.
Right.
And so I guess now like that was kind of just, hey, you could be a songwriter, right? But yeah, my musical palette was all over the place. And then like junior year of high school, I was hanging out with, a bunch of friends that were different from the normal crowd that I hung out with. Like they were more into the arts,
Right.
Acoustic guitarists. This guy Chris, super talented guy, and we started singing together. We started writing together. So that was really kind of when I started diving into writing, because like I would go on like school retreats and he would sing songs that he wrote, and I'm like, yo, let me do that. Like, how can I do that? And I started getting really heavy into John Mayer too.
Of course.
Yeah, I love John Mayer.
Now, before we move forward, no, people are going to be curious. Of course, they'll read the description. But I was telling JJ and Mike.
Yeah.
I go, I met this guy Vince, who's a friend of Robin, and they dropped by the house. And I asked Vince, and this was very candid. I said, "Hey Vince, what do you do for a living?" And what's your answer?
I'm a musician.
No, that's not what you said.
What did I say?
I'm a songwriter.
I'm a songwriter.
That's what you said.
Yes.
And that impressed me because, and I was telling JJ and Mike, I go, I'm a songwriter, but I don't say that when people ask me what I do for a living. So I take pride when people tell me what they do passionately as opposed to what they do because they need to fuel their passion.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get you.
And then, did I say and then? Okay, I'm going to drink.
Oh, we're starting the game now?
No. That was my excuse to drink.
Oh, okay.
Then's not included. I could say then. Huh? Then I doubled down on the first question and asked you, what's your current project? And nonchalant, you said,
I wrote a song for BTS.
right?
Yeah.
Just like that. And you know what? When I told Mike and JJ about it, of course, they couldn't relate to BTS. It glazed over their head.
It's okay.
Too old for them. When I told my kids about it, they were like, "Really, Dad?" And then when I told, and then,
I'll drink with you.
then when they Googled it and your name popped up, they were like, "Oh my God, we know this artist, we know this guy." So, guys, this is what we're talking about: how to get from point A to where you want to go. Okay. So now let's go back to Chicago.
Yes.
You and your friend, what's his name?
His name is Chris.
Chris. You and
Lambert.
Chris.
Yeah.
Now you guys went heavily into John Mayer together.
Yeah, because his style was very John Mayer-ish, and I was really getting into John Mayer at the time.
Are you more of like a lyricist or an instrumentalist?
I'm more of, now I'm both.
At that time.
At that time, I was more of a lyricist.
And what were your topics mostly all about?
Just love.
Of course.
Love, inspiration. The first song me and Chris wrote was a song we titled "Free Train."
Free Train. What was it about?
Just being free,
Nice.
Cause we're riding on the free train. All these fears have no things. We're riding on the free train. It was really simple and like, one of my first few lyrics that I wrote with him, but like, I felt like the message was there, and I was like, oh man, I wrote my first song.
Okay, from the first song, what was going through your head after writing? Did you produce it? You recorded it? Everything, or did you have it produced?
No, we just wrote it together in his basement.
And recorded it on a
We
computer?
didn't even record
No?
it. Yeah.
Wow.
So we didn't record it. We just had it. We performed it at our senior year talent show. And then fast forward, we're in college now. He hits me up after like not really connecting for so long, and he was like, "Hey man, you want to make a band?" I was like, "I'm down if you're down."
Wait, college was still in Chicago?
Yeah, college was still, I went to Columbia College, Chicago. And another transitional period for me.
course, yeah.
I finally found who I was as a high school person, but I felt like maybe a little too late because I was already leaving high school.
Right.
So then I enter college, and here I am in another transition. Like, what the hell am I going to do in college? Right? I don't even know what I want to take up. But like, I signed up for all the courses. Like, I felt like I was starting over again in terms of making friends because I was in brand new territory, which is common, which is fair
Normal.
to say. But yeah, Chris hit me up and he was like, "Hey man, you want to join a band?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm down if you're down. And so him, and two other guys from our high school, we made a band. We were a cover band, and we called ourselves the Wet Bandits, in reference to Home Alone, the movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, wait. So were you holding an instrument, playing an
No,
instrument?
I was a singer.
You were the vocalist.
Yeah,
of the
I was a
band. Okay.
vocalist, and then one guy played the drums, one played the bass, and Chris played the guitar.
Guitars, yeah.
We were doing Chili Peppers covers. We were doing NERD covers. Like, it was totally out of my spectrum, right?
Right.
Because I fell in love with R&B, and I do pop music now. So those are really kind of my foundations. But it was kind of cool that I was kind of reaching out of my
Of course,
my
and this
little
is
bubble.
more to add to your bag of tricks later on. Yeah.
And you know what? We were actually doing shows in Chicago. And I was like, holy shit, I'm doing more shows on a cover band than I am doing as a solo artist. But it was fun, man. It was such an experience. And then we were doing shows, and then it just stopped.
Wait, but was your mom supportive while you were doing this?
Yes, she was supportive.
Was she kind of iffy that you were doing this?
Yeah, I think just like any parent, when you have a child, I think that dives into like uncharted territory
Yes.
that they're not
Very
familiar
unpredictable,
com-
right? Yeah.
Respect to my mom, she wanted me to be like a nurse or a doctor,
Why not? That's
Why not?
every Filipino mom's dream.
valid dreams,
Yes.
and I love and respect that. But I just had a different beat to myself, I just had a different vision. And then, I'm proud. I'm not proud to say it, but I'm proud that I made the decision. But I
Yes.
dropped out of college, just because I felt like, why the hell am I going to sit in the class and read a book when I can get the real life experience? Which is, I think, when I made that choice, that's when my journey began.
Okay. From choice to manifestation, meaning dropping out of school, how long did it take? Okay, wait, again. Let me rephrase.
Yeah.
From contemplation to choice, how long was that?
From contemplation to choice, I've always wanted to be an artist.
Yes.
Ever since
Ever since you were young.
Yeah, ever since I was young. Then I got my first taste writing my first song.
With Chris, yeah.
Then
Being in a band.
then I was in a band, and then
So this is all Chris's fault, anyway.
there's actually a couple Chris's that are at fault.
Oh, okay.
So my other friend Chris, we call him Chris Classic. He was like an aspiring engineer, and so he went to the same college, and we all kind of knew the same mutual friends in Chicago, and he built a home studio in the basement of his house.
Oh,
Right. And so, fast forward, when I decided to, drop out of school and kind of do my own thing, I had to get the job to pay the bills.
Yes.
I had to be more responsible. Like, in fairness to my mom was like, hey, if you're going to do this, like,
you got to be self-sufficient.
you got to be self-sufficient. Like,
Right.
you got to bust your ass.
Right.
Because she supported it, but, she was worried. Because,
Of
how
course.
are you going to make money in a very unstable
Unpredictable, unstable kind of environment. Yeah.
And then fast forward, I met Chris, he was working from the ground up too. And then he invited me to a studio, and that's when I really started to get more into songwriting. I started to reach out to, other producers.
Now, I was going to ask, because was Chris just an engineer, or was he an engineer / producer?
He was an engineer / producer.
There you go. And then he'd make you sing on some of his tracks.
Cheers.
Cheers.
So I actually bought my very first beat from Chris. And so it was a song called Silly Love Song. It's probably somewhere on the internet. But that was a beat he produced. And that was the very first song that I wrote and recorded.
Talk to me. I'm going to digress, huh?
Yeah.
Just because we might forget about this.
No, we're all over the place. It's okay, though.
It's very, very okay. A beat. As a drummer, when you say beat,
It's just,
as a singer, hip hop artist, producer, when you say beat, it's the minus one,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's the term. Now, my son, Heaven, is a rapper, and he's before he started creating his own beats, he would lease beats. What's the difference between leasing a beat and actually buying a beat?
Kind of like a car, you know.
Explain.
Like, you don't really own it. So like, there's producers out there that'll lease the beat, right? So say you made the beat and I lease it from you. You're just giving me
Rights.
You just give me rights and clearance to use it for however I need. But you can go to Mike over here and be like, hey, you can have this beat too.
So JJ can write, Mike can write over it?
Yeah, just because like you're only licensing that beat.
No exclusivity.
There's no exclusivity. Whereas if you just buy it, like it's completely yours.
You like what you did
Yeah.
from Chris Classic.
Yeah. I loved it, you know, and like it was the first beat that I bought from him, first song I recorded and wrote in his studio. And then from there it was kind of just like, let's fucking go.
And then what? You started buying more beats.
And so I just, for everyone listening, a huge part of what I talk about and I discuss is about networking and building relationships.
Exactly, yes.
Just because that's how I feel I got to where I am. But stepping back.
Step back again.
Yeah. And then I started using him as like as a liaison to other producers and other people.
Because remember, he owns the studio.
He owns a studio, and there's more than just me coming to a studio to record. So I felt that was a great place for me to start building my building blocks. And then, you know, I met a ton of producers that I bought beats from. And then I came out with a mixtape. And then going back to the band thing, I was like, hey, let's fucking record these songs now. So then me and the band recorded our songs.
Your version now.
Yeah.
Based on the beats that you bought.
Yeah. And then so like the original song that me and Chris Lambert wrote in high school.
Free Train.
We recorded it a couple years later at Chris Classic Studio called Classic Studios. And so it was just there that like, you know, Chris was like, hey man, like I believe in you. Like I will offer my space to you for as long as you focus on what you need to do.
Wow.
The moment I see you slacking or bullshitting, like you're out of here. You're like, it's done. And then from there, I was kind of like, all right, man, like this guy believes in me. I owe it to this guy at least to really work my ass off. And then from there, like as years passed, I've seen him grow as well as I feel like I've grown. You know, he moved out of his parents' basement. He got his own house.
Nice.
Made a studio there. And then from his own house, he bought his own commercial space. And now he's opened up his own studio. Chance the Rapper's recorded there. A lot of big industry names. And no matter how far he's progressed, he's managed to be like, hey, man, like there's a space for you.
Because both of you grew together. Both of you started together. You believed in him. Remember, you bought a beat from him.
I bought a beat from him.
Yeah. So
It's been a crazy road. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Like there's no one direct road to get to where anyone's going. There's been no direct road to where I've gone. I've literally taken like over 5 million detours.
I totally agree. And again, it's like saying there are so many ways to skin a cat. No offense to cat lovers out there, but it's true though.
Yeah.
There's no one solid path. Everybody has their own journey. However, when did it come to mind that it was time to go to LA?
It was 2012.
Hollywood on your mind?
Hollywood was on my mind.
Did anybody push you to go Hollywood, or was it, you know what, I'm this Chicago's too small, I'm gonna go to Hollywood?
There wasn't really one particular person. I just felt like a lot of my resources could be found there. You know, during that time, you know, excuse me, up until the point of 2012, you know, I was hustling. You know, I was working a full-time job. You know, I was spending nights in the studio writing and recording stuff. I had dreams of being an artist, you know, and I was going to South by Southwest in Austin, Texas every single year to do showcases, to network. And I was meeting a whole ton of people that were guiding me along the way. Going back to the reason why I dropped out of college was because like I wanted that real life experience.
Yes.
I wanted to learn by trial and error. You know, if I failed, I failed, but at least I learned something.
That's true.
Let's keep it moving. And yeah, it just 2012 I took a trip out to LA with
this was your first trip to LA. No.
I mean, I've been to LA before.
Yeah, Disneyland, all that stuff.
Yeah, but my first trip in LA with music on my mind was in 2012. I met a few people. I met August Rigo, who's been a really important and solid part of my life in terms of music and friendship. I met him in 2012. We managed to keep in touch. I gave him my mixtape. I was like, hey, man, you should listen to my mixtape. 2013, I come back to LA again, and then I meet people from Apl de Ap's camp.
Okay, stop there. We'll go on a short break. We'll be back. And we're back. Now, LA on your mind.
Yes.
My God. No relatives in LA.
Absolutely no family.
You had to sit your mom down, or your mom had to sit you down. Single mom, single son, having a conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. During
Walk us through, because a lot of our audience might be on that fence or on their crossroad and all that. How did you and your mom deal with this? Because you were gonna leave her alone.
Yes. Yeah, that was a really big thing in the back of my head. Because I've never really been alone.
Neither has your mom.
Yeah. I've always had the family, but when I made that trip, I said,
He said,
Oh man.
So guys, when he says, when I say and then, we drink. My goodness. Okay.
All right.
Your mom.
My mom.
Back of your mind, you know that she was going to be alone.
In the back of my mind, I'm really trying not to say Okay.
I can say you can say and then.
All right.
All right.
And then, so I had to sit down and talk to my mom. But when I made that trip early in 2013, I had met people from Apl de Ap's camp. I didn't meet him specifically, but I met one of his engineers. And he was like, hey, what do you want to do?
How'd you meet his engineer, though?
I met him through a mutual friend. And then he introduced me. We went to the studio. We just vibed, and I was playing music. Excuse me. And yeah, he was just like, what do you want to do? And
That's a nice question, no?
Yeah. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. But I said, I want to move to LA, and I want to solidify a career in music and really hit the ground running with whatever opportunity I can find myself in. And he's like, okay, cool. And I was like,
that was a nice elevator speech, huh?
yeah, right?
Yeah, short and simple.
Yeah. And I was like, that's it? And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay. Because you're expecting something, you're expecting a different response. But I was like, all right, whatever. Let's make the most of the situation. And I spent a lot of time in LA networking, meeting people, and really trying to let them know, hey, I'm a songwriter. I do this, I do that.
Hold on. Now you're pitching yourself as a songwriter and not as an artist.
Yes.
So go back, rewind. When did that choice come to mind? Because I'm a drummer.
Yeah.
And I'm a songwriter. But because of one hit song that I sang, people think I'm a singer. And people think I'm a damn good singer. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But I can write songs.
Yeah.
However, I haven't decided if I'm a songwriter or a drummer. That's why I call myself a musician.
Mm-hmm.
But you've decided to call yourself a songwriter. And that's powerful because it defines you and your path.
Mm-hmm.
But when did it come? When did you detach yourself from being a singer?
I detached myself that trip.
And you know what that means, right? It meant that as being the front man of the band,
Mm-hmm.
now you're willing to waive that opportunity to be behind the drummer.
Yeah.
To write songs for the band or the artist or whoever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Big step, huh?
It's a big step because for me, I felt like I was writing great songs.
And you are.
And I had that expectation of hey, you're an artist, you write your own songs, you should have, 1 million followers on Instagram. You should be doing shows. You should be touring right now. By this time, you should be doing all that. And I wasn't. So it was a little bit of a confidence breaker. Because I was writing great songs. People were liking the stuff that I was doing. But as an artist, I didn't seem to be progressing.
Right.
And then I started getting more gigs and chances and opportunities to write songs for people.
They'd come to you because they heard your song.
Yeah, they'd come to me. They'd be like, hey, can you write in the studio with me? Can you help me with this song? Can you help me with that song? Can you write a hook?
How fast can you write a song?
Pretty fast.
Well, your wife is going to say 3 hours.
Top to bottom, if I'm really focused, top to bottom, I can do a full song, vocals, written, recorded, mixed, 9 hours.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hook included.
Everything. Top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I was getting more opportunities as a songwriter to and yeah, I was just like, why? But then when I took that, damn it. And yeah. And so I was like, okay. I never even thought about it in the back of my head, but when he asked me, like, what do you do? I said, I'm a songwriter. I think that was it. I wasn't thinking about it. It just naturally came out.
Yeah.
And I used, the songs that I've recorded as my proof. At that time, my songs weren't that great to the people I was playing it to. Keep in mind, I played some songs to people that have worked with Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
I played my songs to people in the industry. And they were like, hey, you're good, but you just need a little bit more work.
Let's talk about rejection.
It hurt.
Explain to them how you've dealt with rejection.
You just have to deal with it,
Because Hollywood dog eat dog yan eh.
Yeah, it's a dog eat dog world, and no one's gonna be nice to you just because you're in a place that a million other people do the same thing that you're doing.
Interesting.
And you can either play by the rules or you can take those risks, right? So I took those risks, and rejection's not easy in anything.
It deflates you, no?
Yeah, it really deflates you. It really makes you feel like shit. But at the same time, if you have a goal in your head, if you have this vision, if you already have even 2 people that believe in you, you owe it to them.
Yes.
To keep going.
Where were you staying at this point? You had your own place, nah? No.
I was staying with my mom in Chicago.
Oh, this was still Chicago. Shoot.
So when I took that trip, I was still staying with my mom. And then the last conversation I had with one of Apl de Ap's camp, they were like, hey, we'll let you know if anything pops up, but let's keep in touch. I said, sure, let's do that.
And then you went back.
I went back to Chicago, back to the regularly scheduled program. I had a job.
Nibbling your fingers going, when is it going to happen?
Yeah, I was just pacing back and forth, texting at least like every other week, like, hey, what's going on? Like, what you guys doing over there, right?
Yep.
And so he hits me back. His name is Edgar. He hits me back and he goes, hey, you still looking to move to LA? I said, yeah. And then he goes, because Apple's looking for another assistant/driver. Would you be interested? I said, hell yeah. I'm packing my shit now.
So Apl de Ap wasn't looking for a songwriter. He was just looking for an assistant.
Yes.
/driver.
Yes. So that was my official
That was
role.
your in.
That was my in. But I looked at it as I'm working for a guy that's part of one of the biggest groups in the entire world.
And you know what it means to be assistant and driver, right? It means you're the guy beside the guy.
I'm the right-hand guy.
Yep.
And for me,
actually,
it was
no. You're on the left side because you're the guy driving.
the left side, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. But when we were in Europe, I was on the right
Yeah,
side.
exactly. Okay, continue.
But
Interesting story.
But it was my perfect way in.
Right.
Even if I wasn't directly associated in music,
You were there.
I was in the world.
Yes.
So I said, yes, I'm in. And then 2 weeks later, I was moving to LA.
Is that why you live in Silver Lake?
No. But I'll get to that.
Okay.
But 2 weeks, my mom always knew I wanted to go. But until I could provide her with something solid for me to leave, she was like, fuck no, you're staying home.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hey, I have a job with Apl de Ap.
And she knows who Apl de Ap is,
Yeah. She was
right?
like, oh my God, really? When do you have to go? So I was like, I gotta leave in 2 weeks. But no one gave me like a start date. They were just like, all right, cool. So I just took it upon myself, like, fuck it, I'm out of here.
Right.
I quit my job in 2 weeks. And I felt kind of bad because my manager, I was working for T-Mobile at the time.
Oh, nice.
My manager was one of my best friends that I grew up with.
Okay.
So then we were just hanging out. I was like, hey, man, I quit. He's like, what do you mean quit? I quit work. He's like, why? You have to fucking put in your paper, like your official papers. You can't just tell me. I was like, well, I just figured since you're my friend, I could just tell you I'm going to quit. So I quit. I quit in 2 weeks. I packed up all my shit and I left.
Wow.
I left Chicago in 2 weeks.
You haven't met Apl in person.
I have not met him in person. I quit my job. I quit everything. I was like, Mom, I'm out of here.
So this is Edgar vouching for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, Mom, I'm out of here. And she's like, where are you going to live? I said, shit. And then, look, my wife's looking at me because I'm swearing a lot. But I'm sorry to the people out there. I swear sometimes. Anyways. Yeah. So I hit up my friend Lex because he's from LA. I said, Lex, can I crash at your place? And he was like, sure. Yes, you can. I was like, sweet. And he lived in Chatsworth, so up in the valley.
Yeah.
So I said, Mom, I have a place to stay. I get to LA, and I'm like, all right, what do I do? Right? I move all my stuff into my friend Lex's house, and then right from the get-go, I'm in the studio at Edgar. And we're working on stuff. Apl de Ap was nowhere to be seen, was not in the picture, because he was out of the country just doing what he does. And
you never told Edgar, when do I start?
I just showed up.
You just showed up.
Yeah, I showed up. I moved in November. It's going to be 7 years of me being in LA November 1st.
Okay. Happy anniversary.
Thank you. And I just showed up. But the flip side of me staying at my friend's house and his parents' house, I was doing studio sessions till like 3, 4 in the morning.
Right.
And I couldn't just ring the doorbell
Of course.
and call.
Yes, that's rude.
So there were a lot of times I was sleeping in my car in front of their house.
Waiting for
them to wake up.
Exactly.
And then it got to a point where I was actually sleeping in the studio. I would ask Edgar, like, hey, man, I can't really go back to the place I'm staying at. Do you mind if I just crash here? He was like, fine. There's a futon. You're more than welcome. Still not on the payroll, not really officially an employee. Could things have turned for the worse? I could have been like, man,
yes,
working for free. Right?
But Lex was gracious enough to let you stay for free as well.
Yeah, he was him and his family were very gracious enough to let me stay. But I felt the schedule that I immediately fell into was just kind of inconvenient and kind of rude.
Yes,
for their family, especially because I'm coming home at such late hours. So I decided to just randomly get my own place, like come December. Moved in.
Whoa, that was fast.
Yeah,
huh?
really fast. Because I felt bad, and you know, it just wasn't a nice feeling to be like, oh man, where am I going to sleep? I got to sleep in my car again.
But again, going back to what I asked you, contemplation to making a choice, how long does that process take for you? Because you seem to be spontaneous, but everything seems to be planned as well.
It was pretty spontaneous.
Wow.
Yeah, because
but when you commit, you're committed, no?
when I commit, I commit. And if things happen, then things happen. I'll adjust. I never ever really have it figured out until it happens. But yeah, it wasn't until
so December you found the place.
December I found a place. I found a roommate, another friend. His name is Chris.
Another Chris.
I have a lot of friends named Chris. We got a place in Sherman Oaks. I was like, cool. I feel more relaxed now. I have a place to stay.
Right.
Let's go. Middle of December, I meet Apl de Ap.
How?
He finally came home.
You knew you were going to meet him that day or no? You were
No.
just at the studio again.
We were at the studio because his studio was at his house.
Right.
So I was going to his house, but I was just in the studio. Me and Edgar were working. Out of nowhere, Apl de Ap walks in. I was like, oh. It's dude from Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, I know, right?
And then And then Edgar was like, Ap, this is, the new guy that's going to be working for you. He's the new driver. He's the new assistant. And Ap was like, yeah, cool, man. And that was it.
That's it?
I was like, shit, this guy doesn't like me.
Nice guy, though.
Nice guy. Super nice guy. One of the nicest guys I know to this
I
day.
saw him riding his scooter on Rowena and Hyperion.
Oh, really?
Near that place. I go, Apple!
Yeah.
He said, what's up? That was it.
Yeah. One of the nicest guys till this day that I know. I'm really fortunate to still, to be friends with him and to still be, in.
So 2 words, huh? That was all he
Yeah,
said.
he's like, what's up? And then
What'd you say?
I was like,
Starstruck.
nice to meet you, man. And then we went out. We went to dinner. We did our thing, and
You drove.
I drove. But it was my first time really driving around in LA, so I was like, shoot, I don't know where to go.
Wait, did he know? Did he figure out that you were from out of town?
He knew I was
He
from out
knew
of
that
town.
already. Okay.
But I just think you're in that position. You just hit the ground running, and you just roll with the punches. That night, studio, dinner. We went to the club. We went to go get tacos. I didn't know where I was going.
So when he was awake, you had to be awake.
Yes.
Okay.
So at that point, my entire life was his life.
Correct.
And so my first few months working under him was just strictly that. Personal assistant stuff, driving him around,
Schedule. Gatekeeper.
gatekeeper.
You were the gatekeeper.
I was
right?
the guy.
Uh-huh.
When people ask, I was the guy.
But you know what? That's a good position to be in as
It
well.
was a great
right?
position. And then we started working in the studio more together. Edgar was vouching for me like, hey, he's a writer. He does this, he does that. And so slowly, Apl was starting to work me into sessions.
How?
We would just be listening to music, and then he would be writing, and then he'd be like, hey, what do you got? I'd be like, what do you mean, what do I got? Am I supposed to be writing?
What you got? Tacos?
Yeah. And so, yeah, write something. Let me know what
Nice.
you got. And so I started writing, and he started liking what I was doing. And then I think it was May
Of the following year.
of the following year, 2014, he flew the whole team to Australia. And
You guys?
I was included.
When you say the whole team, his
Yeah,
posse.
so his posse.
Yeah.
Will at the time was doing The Voice Australia.
Uh-huh.
And so he wanted to work on music. So Will was like, everybody come to Australia. So we went to Australia, and we were working day in, day out for like 2 weeks, just in the studio writing stuff. And it was my first time really being outside of the country that isn't the Philippines. And from that point on, like, my life changed.
You were still calling home.
I was still calling home. Like, Mom, I'm going to Australia.
Your mom is probably, hi tita, but probably very proud, no?
Yeah, she's very proud. And it was that point that my life changed, because he trusted me not only with
Yeah.
his day-to-day stuff, but he trusted me as a musician.
Yeah. You've earned it kasi.
Yeah, as a musician, to really get in and play ball with the rest of them.
Right. So you met the rest of the piece.
I met the rest of the piece.
How were you introduced?
Just very casually.
Very
We were in the studio, kind of like a table like this. Apl was right here. I was here. Edgar was like at the engineer booth. Will walks in. All right, what do you guys got? I was like, hey, Will. Hey. That was it. That's it. I was in. But it's cool. It's a total reflection that, the biggest celebrities and the biggest music artists in the
Nicest
world
people.
can also be the nicest, most
Yeah.
down to earth, welcoming people.
That's why they're the biggest.
Yeah.
Now, you were starting to spread your wings,
Yeah.
but you were not stepping on anybody's toes or feet.
I
or
wasn't.
You were very consciously not going to cross any boundaries and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
I was very careful. I was very careful in making sure I separated my duties.
Right.
From whatever time to whatever time, it was admin stuff for App. Come nighttime, we were in the studio. Come after the studio, if you wanted to step out, switch roles. We'd be out. I had to be the guy taking people's contacts for people, coming up to him. when we were in London, I had to make sure paparazzi wasn't taking photos of him. So I guess I was his friend, his protector, and
So
his
talagang
bandmate.
you guys created a bond wherein he could trust you with everything he had.
Yes.
Even the last 4 digits of his social security number, probably.
Not the social,
okay.
but the debit card.
Debit card. There you go. Nice, no?
Yeah, that was cool. That's cool.
And then what?
And then what?
I mean, did you reflect? Is this going to be it? Is this my Hollywood?
Gotcha. We did a song. We did a lot of songs.
Like what? Name drop.
We did a song. I can't really name drop because
Okay.
we're fixing the paperwork.
Okay.
So I can't really say
No.
anything.
No.
But we've done songs. I did the It's More Fun song.
Really?
Yeah. So the song that Apl de Ap did for the Department of Tourism
In the Philippines,
For the Philippines. It's More Fun.
Yeah.
I wrote that.
How did he commission you to write that?
He was just like, hey. I was like, what's up? What do you got? I said, hold on. And I wrote it. It's really that simple and that like lighthearted between him and I. You know, he's just like, yeah, what do you got? All right, cool. I'm going to use that.
Imagine, no? How long did it take from what's up to Vince?
Yeah, it took a while. It took a while. Obviously, just because I was just the new guy in his territory. But I think it was because I made sure I wasn't overstepping my boundaries and I was being careful in my role and what I did that I think I gained his trust and respect.
Right.
And yeah, we did that song. We shot the video. We toured all around the Philippines. It was super awesome. What was the question?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, how did it get from what's up to Vince? That relationship process, the songs you've written, the trust that he gave to you. Because remember, everything he tells you to do, it's his name and brand and face that's client facing.
Yes.
Right? You had a big tent over you. When did you feel that it was time to actually?
It was 2016. Another shift in my life.
Shift. It's like you telling your T-Mobile manager.
Yeah. The relationship was great. You know, we were making music. We were doing all these things.
You were getting paid.
Yeah, I was getting paid to be making music.
You still lived in Sherman Oaks.
Oh no, I lived in Sherman Oaks for a year,
And then?
and then I moved to Silver Lake.
Did I just say and then?
And then I moved to Silver Lake.
I think people should actually be drinking also every time we drink.
Yes.
Okay, go.
I moved
to Silver Lake. This is the story. Okay.
down the street
So that you're closer.
from Apple's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that you're closer.
I moved for you, man.
Apple, if you're watching, now you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I moved to Silver Lake. I just love the neighborhood.
You jog by the lake.
Their little reservoir?
Yeah?
Yeah, all the time. No, not all the time. All the time. But I think it took about a year.
You found a nice place over there.
Yeah, a nice little apartment.
So life was good.
Life was cool. We were doing music. Apl was really focusing on his solo projects. Unfortunately, there was a couple delays with his solo projects.
So you were there when he discovered J
Ray.
Ray.
Yeah, she's a good friend of ours. We were all there for the voice stuff. I was going with him to the Philippines back and forth when he was doing the voice, helping him out in the background. Like,
So you would deal with ABS-CBN and all that.
I personally wouldn't deal with him.
Right.
But when it
But
came,
once the deal was done, the day-to-day,
yeah, day to day, it was me. He would ask,
you know. Pilar, let's show the audience what we're drinking after. Courtesy of Pilar and Vince.
He would ask, hey, what do you think of this artist? What do you think of that artist? Should I choose this person? Should I choose that person? So I was like a second opinion in the decisions he made when he was on The Voice, which was cool.
Nice.
But it took a year to develop that relationship. But during that time, like he took me around the world. He gave me a platform and he gave me opportunity that I don't think I could ever have gotten had I not made that relationship.
You got front seats.
Yeah. And then, I met my wife.
Wait, before we get to you and Pilar,
Yeah.
how about you and Edgar? How was your relationship?
It was good.
No jealousy that, look at this guy. He's with...
No. There was no jealousy at all.
Good.
Which was great
Good.
because that was the last thing I wanted.
Because remember, your role kind of superseded their role in some regard.
In some, yeah. I mean, I spent more time
All right.
with him,
With the man.
with the guy.
Yeah, with the guy.
But I also think that's the reason why we gelled, because we spent that time.
Right. Before you continue that, we're going to go on a break.
Break
A
time.
short break, yeah. And then we'll be back. Whoa, interesting story, guys. Stay tuned. And we're back.
We're back.
Now, 2016.
Yes.
Wait, did you meet your wife first before another phase in your life, another shift in your life happened? Or how did it work? You were still with Apl when you met your wife.
Yes, I was still with Apl when I met my wife.
How'd you meet your wife?
When we were filming the
It's More Fun?
It's More Fun video in late 2014. But like,
Wait, you met your wife in 2014?
yeah, but we weren't like dating or anything.
Yeah, just hi, hello.
We just hi, hello. It's me. You know? And so we met. It was nothing at the time. 2015.
Nothing for whom?
for either of us.
Knox.
But she did take care of me when I was in the hospital.
Why were you in the hospital?
I got bit by something.
Oh,
We were in
Philippines.
Davao.
Oh
and,
my God.
And I was a dragon or something. Just bit
So
my
wait.
face.
So you were with Apl and Pilar was with, who was she with? Why did your paths cross?
At the time, her cousin was part of the
It's More Fun.
agency that was
Oh.
handling Apl de Ap's social media
Okay.
and his PR stuff.
Okay.
And she was liaison for the It's More Fun project
Oh, okay.
when we were in the Philippines. So
Of course, then she had to talk to you.
So she was my day-to-day.
Hoorah.
But it was nothing at first.
Don't you want to say hi? Come on cam.
She hated me
Oh, really?
at the beginning. 'Cause she thought I was so arrogant. And who knows, maybe I was. Or maybe it was the charm.
Someone's blushing, oh. Off cam. Salute.
But yeah, we met. We met then. 2015 rolls around.
Wait. How long were you guys how long were you guys working? How long was the campaign? There you go.
The campaign was
That's how we can gauge it, eh.
depends on who's asking. Depends on
Oh, did it extend? Did the campaign extend between both of you after the campaign actually ended?
it depends on who's sending out the press release.
Oh, okay. Since you're behind the mic, let's get your version.
Yeah. 2014 we met. There was nothing. There's no fireworks. We come back to the Philippines top of 2015 because he started filming The Voice. Again,
Right.
she was the liaison for the day-to-day stuff. I think it wasn't till the end of our trip, which was like end of February, that she held my hand. She's pissed right now. She held my hand and then you know, fireworks
For you, for whom? For you.
for both of us.
For both of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was
Now you're understanding the slogan, it's more fun in the Philippines.
yes.
Pilar's going, God, change it.
But we had to keep it on the hush for a little bit, just because we didn't want it to conflict with work.
Yeah, conflict of interest.
Yeah, conflict of interest. And come 2016, I was kind of at a point where I wanted more for myself. I loved and appreciated everything that App and the team.
And you were with him for like what now? 3 years
Yeah.
now, no?
I appreciated everything that they had done for me and still continue to do for me. But I wanted to spread my wings a little bit more. So I came to a point of decision. Do I want to live in this guy's shadow
Yeah.
for the rest of my career? Or do I want to see if I can swim? And so I made that tough decision. I said, hey, App, I
Spontaneous again?
Spontaneous again.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I just go with it.
You just brain farts, huh?
I just go with it.
Excuse me. How'd it go? Okay, now I want to hear the conversation.
It was a pretty emotional conversation.
What was he doing? What were you doing? In the car after the show, quiet. Oh, hey, Ap.
I was in the kitchen.
Ooh.
Watching TV. He had just finished working out.
Can you imagine when you started, you only had access to the studio. Now you had access to the kitchen.
Yeah.
In every part of the house.
Kitchen. I've slept on the couch.
See?
I've showered there.
There you go.
But he had just finished working out. I said, Ap, can I talk to you for a second? He's like, what's up? Man, I just kind of explained to him. I was like, I think it's time for me to spread my wings. And there was a couple other things going on in the background that also had a factor in the decision that I made. But for the most part, I was like, I'm at a different road now. I want to see where I can go. I think it's time that I just turned in my key. Because I had house keys too.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, I think it's time that I turned in my key and just relinquish my responsibilities as your guy.
Who's going to do the day-to-day? That would have been my question. I was like, who's gonna do you? Who's gonna do you?
Yeah, I hadn't thought that far. I just made that decision. I was like, it's time. So I made that decision, and that was it.
What did he say?
He was like, I respect it. You know, just do you. We're still friends. I respect you. Like, good luck. And we didn't really speak that for the rest of that year. Not in bad terms. It was kind of...
Because he was giving you space for you to do you.
He was giving me space to do me. And we'd see each other in passing. We'd see each other at events, and we'd talk then, we'd hang out. But it wasn't like we wouldn't have a daily conversation anymore, which was cool because he gave me my space. But
how did it feel, though? Remember, prior to Apl de Ap,
yeah,
it was mom.
Yeah.
Right? Mom gave you your space. Go. Found yourself. Adopted by Apl.
Yeah.
Stayed for 3. Now you're going, it's time for me to go. He said, go.
Yeah.
Now you're a butterfly again.
I'm a butterfly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very hard for me, though.
The second time around.
The second time around. Because I felt like I was starting over again.
Yes.
And also because I broke away, I didn't think it was right for me to say, hey, I'm Apl de Ap so-and-so anymore.
To use it, to name drop him,
yeah,
right?
I didn't think it was right or respectful to him.
Good for you.
To name drop and find my way and kind of use that to my advantage when I'm not even in his world anymore.
Right.
So I felt like I was starting over.
Respect.
So it was a really tough year for me, 2016 was. Granted, I was meeting people, I was in studios, I was working, I was getting better as a writer, but nothing for me was landing. So it was really hard on my spirit. It was really hard on my mental. I lost confidence a lot. And I would hate music.
Wow.
Because I loved it so much. But sometimes it doesn't love you back.
Yes. Very unforgiving, eh?
Yeah. And because I felt like I wasn't getting loved back, I just became jaded. And I was just angry at people. I was just angry at just situations. I would see friends that I ran in the same circles with getting placements. They're doing tours. They're landing big gigs. And I'm like, what the hell, man? Like, why not me?
You had an apartment too. You had bills to pay.
I had bills to pay. I had obligations, picking up side jobs, doing things of that nature to pay those bills. Thankfully my mom's helped me here and there as well too.
But for the most part, you had to suck it up.
I had to suck it up. But I think that's what allowed me to grow.
So 2016 was a dark year?
2016 was a dark year career-wise.
Career-wise, yeah.
But it was a good year relationship-wise because that's when Pilar and I really started to...
Maybe that's what it was supposed...
Maybe that's what the universe,
yeah,
told me to do.
Because you can't serve 2 masters at the same time.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Cheers. Pilar, to you guys.
To
Pilar
us.
and to Vince.
So it was a tough year. We grew our relationship grew, but I felt my career took a really big step back.
Was it scary
Yeah.
to actually invest everything to bring your brand, whatever your brand was at that time, to this level, to know these many people, to actually hang out and have front seats with the best of the best?
Yes.
And then a brain fart just changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, you felt that was the right decision, but now you're having self-doubt.
Oh my God. I second guess myself every other day. Because I would just be so hard on myself. I would just be like, man, you work with Apl for 3 years and you don't know anybody that you can reach out to. You don't know anybody you can talk to. You should have a Rolodex of all his contacts that you've met, which I do. But I'm also not going to be like, hey, man, Apl de Ap's guy. Let's do something. Yeah, I find it kind of messed up that I'm name dropping him and I don't work for the guy.
See, that's nice. You have that kind of principle because not everybody has that.
Yeah. Yeah. I at the same time, I wanted to approach my own situations and build my own situations with integrity. I didn't want to build it off of what I did and who I worked for, which I found hard because maybe the music wasn't good. I don't know. Maybe the music wasn't good, but just nothing was landing, and it took a toll on me.
But you kept trying and trying.
Oh, I tried every day. I was always in studios. I was working late nights. I was grinding, man, and I was meeting people. I was meeting managers. I was meeting A&Rs, and I would send them stuff, and either I'd hear nothing back, or I'd hear, send me some other stuff.
Ouch.
So maybe it was the music. Who knows? But it still hurt.
At this point, were you making your own beats or were you still buying beats?
I was still writing with other producers. So I got to a point where I was able to work with producers. Like producers would invite me to the studio like, hey, let's write something.
Put something about this.
Yeah, put something on this, put something on that. Let's send it out and see if it lands with somebody. At the end of 2016, I was like, forget it, man. I'm tired of waiting on people. I'm going to start teaching myself how to produce music.
There you go.
So I took
full control.
Yeah,
huh?
I took a step forward in that. I took a trip to Canada to go visit my boy August, and he kind of just showed me the ropes. I'm like, you need to do this, do that, and it was just a little bit of a break from everything, because again, I felt like my career was suffering,
and you were down that rabbit hole already.
I was in a deep
you had
rabbit
to
hole.
break that negative momentum, right?
Yeah, I was in a deep rabbit hole, but then the deeper I got into it, the more I saw it affect my relationship with my wife.
Right.
So I was in it for a while. End of 2016, I go to the Philippines. And I take that dive. I said, I need a break. Let's work on this relationship. And I ended up being in the Philippines for like 10 months.
Wow.
Yeah. I spent a big chunk of time in the Philippines.
Just being you.
I don't think I was me.
Finding you, in other words.
Yeah.
But you had the support of Pilar already.
Yeah, I had a part of Pilar already. But 2017 was also another difficult year for her and I. Because I think at that point I was at my lowest.
Wow.
Because for an entire year, nothing was landing. And then I was looking at what Apl and the new camp was doing. And I'm like, man, I could have still been part of that. I'm looking at my friends like, damn, I could have been part of that too. I'm looking at other people like.
Now, at this point, 2017, they still haven't reached out to you. They were like giving you space.
We contact one another here and there.
Just to touch base.
Yeah, just to touch base. We'll see each other at events or parties like, yo, what up?
That's it.
But that was it. We saw Apl a lot when he was in the Philippines. But as a person behind the scenes of my life, I was in the dumps.
Wow.
I was very jaded. I didn't trust anybody. My confidence level was.
You were very critical.
I was very critical. I was very jaded. My confidence level was like negative. I just everyone. I just felt like everyone was just out to get me. So I wasn't in a very good place and space.
Yes. So in other words, zero flow.
Zero. None.
Wow.
Which sucked because it affected my relationship.
Of course.
Right?
Because that's your mojo, eh?
Yeah. And
that's the definition of you. If it's not there, then it's like my other question, like you were just doing you. No, because I don't even know who I am.
Yeah.
Because nothing's flowing out.
I think 2017, I was the most lost with myself.
So who snapped you back?
She did.
Good. I'll
She
drink
did.
to that.
Yeah, I'll drink to that too.
Yeah.
Actually.
Cheers, Pilar. Who doesn't want to come in front of the camera?
Yeah, she did. Because it was getting ugly. It was getting really ugly. And she was like, look, you can either just sulk or you can make these changes.
Right.
And again, it wasn't until the end of 2017 things started to shift. We got engaged. We started planning the wedding.
And you were involved, huh?
I was involved, but I don't think I was fully there.
Like looking back in hindsight, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was involved, but I just don't think I was fully there. I wasn't present.
Right.
I was there, but I wasn't present. 2018, still nothing. I'm going like almost 2 years now with not landing anything. Still planning the wedding, still flying back and forth from the Philippines to Chicago, planning this wedding.
What was your mom telling you?
She was telling me to move back home and get a job. And then I was like, hell no, I'm not getting
You know
a
what?
job.
Sometimes, no. And I hope parents can hear this. They have the best intentions,
They do.
but that's not the right advice at the right time for someone who's trying to find himself.
Yeah.
It's like I had a friend. And I was so sad because he had a brother. He still has a brother. And their mom wrote to his brother and said, please take care of your little brother because he's weak. Please take care of your little brother because he is weak. I go, how bad can that be? It's like the mom actually is resigned to the fact that my friend is really weak.
Yeah.
When my friend thinks he's already weak.
Yeah.
And you're wanting people to tell you, you're not weak. You're strong.
Yeah. The intent was there.
That was there, right? Yeah. Okay. So how do you feel when your mom said, just go home and find a job?
I took it very offensively.
Yeah.
Because I got to a point that like there's no turning back now. I can't move back to Chicago. That's the reason why I left.
Right.
I haven't accomplished what I set to accomplish. And it was just a big argument between her and I because financially it just wasn't smart for me to stay in LA.
Yeah.
And
But still,
I scratched and clawed my way
can
to
you
stay.
imagine 2 years, no project, drought, wedding, having to commute from LA to Manila, pressure from Chicago, all of this simultaneously happening at the same time.
Yeah. I just felt everyone was against me.
Yeah.
And I was just talking with Pilar about it the other day. It's like when we look at our parents, you know, their struggle to get to their dreams is way different than what my struggle would have been or what your struggle is. But at the same time, it's still a struggle.
Yes.
But also because of the generation difference, I think it's harder for them to understand that.
Because they had to listen to their parents.
Yeah.
And we did not.
Exactly. And because I felt like my mom didn't understand, I immediately put her on the list. You're against me. Pilar's against me. You're all against me. You don't want me to win.
It really came to that.
It really came to that. Like no one wants to see me win. No one wants to support me.
Did it motivate you or did it get you even more jaded?
At first, it got me even more jaded. I'm not even going to lie. I was an ugly person. But something just clicked. And I was like, dude, what are you doing?
That's you talking to yourself.
Yeah. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, you're about to get married. Like, a whole bunch of things are about to change, but you're a total shithead.
Right.
Like, what are you doing? And then we got married. Best day of my life. And
Nice.
I think it started to climb.
Oh, goosebumps. It's like first things first, no?
Yeah.
Think about it going back.
Yeah.
Looking back in hindsight, it was like first things first. Take care of the things that matter
Yes.
most.
Yes.
And then everything will follow after that.
Yes.
Priorities.
Exactly. And now, you know, fast forward to today, it's for me, time and family is the luxury.
Right?
That's the luxury. Everything else is just a bonus.
I mean, I digress, but before having this podcast, we had like what, 2-3 hours of breaking bread with family.
Yeah. And I think for me now, today, that's my main focus is family time and just being present.
Yeah.
Because everything else will come. And 2018...
And that's where you get the inspiration.
Yeah, that's where I get it now. 2018 wasn't easy either.
Right.
Because now I'm at 3 years of not being able to land a project.
But there was what? Joy.
But there was a happiness and there was more...
Inner peace.
I started to feel more inner peace
Yeah.
as the days and the months went on.
So now with a clearer head, you had a wider perspective now.
Yes.
And more focus. Is that correct?
I had I had a wider perspective. I had a more clear vision.
Yeah.
And I started to meet people again.
Plus, remember a while ago we were talking about vibe and aura.
Yeah.
Now you had a more positive
Yes.
vibe.
Yeah. And I think looking back, no one really wanted to work with me because my aura sucked.
Aha.
And because my aura sucked, the music sucked.
Yes.
Right? And so 2019 still haven't landed anything, but I'm starting to meet really great people, really helping me develop as a songwriter.
And they liked hanging out with you.
And they liked hanging out with me, and I liked hanging out with them. And I felt more and more complete. I felt more and more, I guess, relaxed.
Not desperate, right?
Not desperate. I think from 2016 to 2018, I was acting out of desperation.
Yes.
I was acting out of anger. I was acting out of a lot of negative things. But 2019 started to start rolling. And I was like, all right, like we're kind of getting somewhere. Like I started diving into K-pop with my friend Peter.
Who pushed you into K-pop?
My friend Peter.
How?
Oh, man. So random. So my friend Sam, who's also a songwriter from Chicago, he came to LA. I was like, hey, can I crash on your couch? It was Grammy weekend. I was like, sure, you can crash. Of course. More than welcome to stay. Didn't think of anything of it. He hits me.
Wait, someone crashed on your couch.
On my couch.
Isn't that a full circle kind of thing?
Because I was crashing on someone else's couch? Oh, I didn't think about it like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Something to validate your next chapter in life.
Oh, shit. That's crazy.
You're mind blown. Right?
Yeah. I didn't actually, wow.
The start of better things to come.
Yeah. That was the top of the year 2019, too.
See?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, but he came. and I didn't think of anything of it. I was like, sure, man. More than welcome.
Same as Lex when he said, sure, man. More than welcome.
No, for sure. And then randomly Sam texts me. He said, hey, you wanna come to a studio session with me?
Because Sam is also a producer.
He's a songwriter.
Songwriter like you. Okay.
So I was like, sure, let's do it. I go to the studio session, working with a super talented artist, this girl named Sabrina, and her producer, this Korean guy named Peter, was in the session, and it was kind of awkward because I didn't find out till after the session that it was the first time like Sabrina and Peter were meeting like me, Sam, and Pilar. I just thought, like we were in the room, I just automatically thought everybody knew each other.
Except for you.
Yeah.
And Pilar, yeah.
But then when we walked in the room, they're all like, I was like, oh, this.
Now, is Sabrina Korean or?
No, she's white.
She's white, okay.
Yeah. But I killed the session. I killed it.
Wait, they asked you to write?
Yeah. We
on the spot?
Yeah. We were writing a song. I killed it. And then Peter was like, yo, you're so good.
But wait, Sam invited you
to a session that he was
supposed to be in, that he was in. But to be a fly on the wall, to be a friend.
No, he was part of it too. He was part of the session.
Right, but you were not.
I mean, he invited me. Like
when you say invited, it means you were gonna grind and.
Yeah, we were gonna work.
There you go.
But I didn't. I just thought everyone knew each other.
Ah.
It was really awkward.
Ah.
But I killed it. You know.
I'll drink to that. You know.
But yeah, Peter was like, yo, you're really good. Like we should work some more. I was like, for sure. Let's do it. He invited me to his studio. He was like, hey, I do K-pop. I've got a couple K-pop.
So now, okay, I got that.
I've got a couple K-pop cuts here and there.
But you were not into K-pop.
I was not into K-pop. I had no idea. Like K-pop was a thing.
Huh.
Sorry, BTS fans and BTS Army, but I love it now. I'm so in love with it now.
Bread and butter.
But I didn't think, I knew it was big, but I didn't think it was big.
Big.
Yeah. And then he started showing me the ropes of K-pop. It's a little different, but it's fun. And then me and Peter just started working almost every other day, all of 2019.
He'd give you a beat.
Yeah, no, we'd be in the studio together.
Oh, he'd make the beat.
He'll make it from scratch, and then we just vibe and we just knock out songs. We'll send it out to publishers.
Who sings the demos? You.
Me. Yeah.
So still, you got chops still. You kept your chops.
I still got chops, man. I still got chops. But I started to get my momentum again.
Right. There was, yeah.
I started to get my groove. And I started to feel good.
Okay. We'll come back for more feel-good moments, though. I want to know more about the K-pop world and how you thrived in it. But
Yeah.
short break. We'll be back.
Short break.
Does he get to drink when he curses? Because Pilar's like, stop cursing. Okay, now Peter and you have gained some sort of momentum.
Yes, that's my bro now. So yeah, we started to gain momentum. We started working in the studio.
And now from being John Mayer, Red Hot Chili Pepper, R&B, K-pop.
Yeah. He just put me on the game. He said, all right, I think you're super dope. I think we can do this together, and let's just go. So I said, I'm in.
Right.
No hesitations. I said, I'm in. And the first few months was a little different because K-pop is very dynamic.
Explain.
It's a lot of, it's because you're writing songs for like multiple people in a group, right? So you're technically writing so many separate sections, but you still have to make it dynamic enough where it's catchy. It's like, oh.
So you're singing all the voices?
Yeah. Yes.
On the demo?
Yeah, I'm singing all the parts. I'm singing all these all these things, like all the
harmonies,
all the stacks, everything.
So they're all in your head.
Yeah, they're all in my head. But it took me a while I'm not a very good harmonizer. But it wasn't until like Peter would be like, all right, let me teach you how to harmonize. Let me teach you how to do this. Let me teach you how to like catch the note and let me teach you dynamics of what K-pop is. And it took me a couple months to figure it out. And even till now, it's still a learning experience. I'll be far to say that, you know, I know it top to bottom. I don't, but I'm in love with it now. It's fun. It's awesome. And
yeah, he do all of these, right? He'll tell you to write for this, write for that.
Yeah. And
do you even know who you're writing for? No.
Yes and no. Sometimes we'll get what they call lead sheets. So it's like, you know, you're writing for this person and these are the references. They're very detailed, which is great. They'll be like, it needs to be no faster than like 135 BPM, for example, A minor, you know, things like that. So it's kind of like, okay, we know what we're doing.
Okay.
But he's very good at what he does, and he was a very good teacher to me. And I think that's why we've become really great friends now. And it's fun. We work on it all the time. And then in come the summertime, you know, I reconnect. Well, not reconnect, but I started hanging out again with August. August Rico.
Yeah.
Filipino Canadian. Him and I did Black Swan together. Super talented.
Now Black Swan is what? The new single of BTS right now or an old?
No, it was the very first one at the top of the year.
Okay.
So it came out
January
of this year.
But did you know you were writing for BTS?
I did.
You did.
I did.
Did August know he was writing for BTS?
Yes, because it came from him. So we went to his wedding, 2019 summertime, and then we decided to stay in Canada for like a week just to hang out and stuff. But also during that time, him and his wife were about to have a baby.
Oh.
His wife is from New York, so they ended up going to New York after. And then coincidentally, her cousin was like, hey, come to New York. And we're like, okay, we'll go to New York. Went to New York, planned to stay like a week. Ended up staying for 2 months.
Huh?
Yeah.
Because you guys were writing?
No.
No.
We were just having a good time. But it was like separate. Like,
Okay.
We didn't go because August went. We went because their cousin.
So you were doing your thing, he was doing his thing.
Yeah. But then, obviously, that's my friend. Like, you know, whatever chance I get to hang out with my friend, I'm going to hang out with my friend. And then he had his baby. Oh. We were there at the same time. We went to go visit him. I was like, yeah, he had a baby. This is awesome. And so, you know, he was still working. I was still working. And then he hit me up. I was like, hey, just got an email, just got a lead to do a BTS cut.
And BTS was, yeah, because they did the ball drop, right? Was it, they did the ball drop in 2019, right? I think they did.
Yes.
New York ball drop, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, quite popular already.
And so he sent me the email. He was like, look, it's not a for sure thing. I don't know if it's going to land or not, but it's an opportunity for us to try. I said, sure, let's do it. And, you know, right off of his wife having a baby, you know, he was doing his ideas and making his, you know, vocal stuff where he was. I was in the corner of her cousin's, like, guest room, like this, like, recording. But I did the demo for Black Swan in the corner of a guest bedroom. I wasn't even in the studio. It was like just like this. But him and I sent vocals back and forth, you know, just solidifying the idea. And then he was like, all right, I think this could work. And he sends it off, and that was it. We didn't hear anything after that. And the rest of the time we were in New York, it was just like friend hangout stuff.
So once you submit the material, are you at a point where, you know what, it's like a basketball. Once it's out of your hand, you just let the ball do it.
Let it go. And you know, just all of 2019, my healing process also taught me to not really expect things to come to me or be in my favor because I just expect them to.
Right.
I started to realize, like, I gotta work. I gotta put the effort in. Like, if I want the universe to bless me, I gotta give something to the universe. And I think with me and Pete, you know, he gave me a lane to grow. I gave him friendship and like a big brothership.
Reciprocity, yeah.
For Og, he gave me mentorship. And again, I gave him friendship. Loyalty, yeah. And we sent off the song, but I thought nothing of it. I kicked it out of my mind.
Good.
Because I've learned far too many times.
I know, 2016 to 2019.
That if I expect, it might not come.
Yes.
It's in God's hands now.
Yeah.
Let it do what it do. Let it be what it be. Let's keep on moving forward. While we were waiting, I was still working with Peter, doing K-pop stuff, things like that. We head home to Chicago.
You know what? Before we talk about Chicago, imagine, no, Peter taught you the ropes.
Yeah.
With regard to K-pop.
Yeah.
For you to be ready
for this,
for Og and your collaboration.
Yeah.
Like what Michael was saying off cam when we were on the break, right? You were grinding so much that when chance presented itself to you, I was ready. You were ready.
I didn't ever really think about it like that. It's just blowing my mind. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, that's what happened. Me and Og spent a lot of time in New York just hanging out, just being friends. You know, we were barbecuing, we were going shopping, we were just eating food. You know, we really only worked like 2-3 weeks max, you know.
So now you headed for Chicago.
Yeah, so now we leave New York, we're headed for Chicago. Still nothing.
You still had the place in Silver Lake.
Still had the place in Silver Lake. Still nothing though on the music front. Still working on K-pop demos with Peter. Still grinding. Maybe a couple of days before Thanksgiving, Og calls me. He's like, "Hey man," it's like, "What's up? How do you feel about a BTS cut?" I was like, "What do you mean? How do I feel about a BTS cut? Like, what are you talking about right now?" And he's like, "Well, just got word it may or may not land, but there's interest in it. I just wanted to keep you updated with what's going on." I was like, "Cool. If it lands, fantastic. If not, we just keep going. And again, I just kicked
So you're
it
still agnostic about the whole thing.
Yeah,
right?
I was pumped. I was hyped up. I told my mom, I told Pilar, like we were all hyped up. But at the same time, I pulled myself back away from it.
Yes.
I said, okay, it's not a for sure thing. If it's not a yes, it's still a no.
Right.
So I kicked it out of my head. We spent the holidays with my mom, and then December we go to the Philippines. We were only expecting to stay.
This was this was it.
Yeah, this was it. And so we went to the Philippines
In December.
in December. We were expecting to leave end of January, but obviously because of COVID, we ended up staying for 7 months.
Wow.
But I was coming from the fort, going into Makati. It was January 16th, my dad's birthday. It was my dad's birthday. I'm driving over the bridge from the fort.
From the fort to yeah.
I get a message on my Instagram inbox from just some random person that said, "Oh my God, this song is so amazing! Like, this song is so incredible! Like, this is great!" And I was like,
What?
"What are you talking about?" Right? Then I get another message, "Black Swan's incredible!" And then I get another message, "Oh my God, Black Swan is so amazing!" And I'm like, "What the hell is Black Swan?"
Oh, that was the title?
No, that was the title, but because I
You forgot, you put back
because I pushed
burner.
it out of my head, like I wasn't like expecting anything because no one called me,
Right.
or no one said anything about it, and I was like, Black Swan, that sounds familiar, right? Like totally oblivious to what the heck was going on, and then, since I was lucky enough to sit in traffic in the Philippines, I jumped on Spotify to check what everyone was talking about, and it said BTS Black Swan. I was like, "Oh, that's cool," right? Yeah. I hit the the three dots on the side, and I clicked song credits. I was like, "Oh, I wonder who wrote this," right? Clicked it, boom. Me and August. I was like, "Oh!"
I'll drink to that. Oh my God. Oh my God. Cheers, guys. Wow.
So that changed my life. And it was super significant because it was on January 16th, my dad's birthday.
Amen.
And here we are.
Isn't it very humbling that, looking back in hindsight, leaving T-Mobile brought you to Apple, and leaving Apple brought you to this.
Yeah.
But now you're in that place where it's not just you. I mean, you and your collaborator, you and Pilar, are working on something magical.
Yes.
Both of you.
Yes.
No?
I definitely agree.
So what's next?
What's next?
When is that brain fart gonna come?
Whoa. I think now we just live life.
You know what? For everybody in the room and everybody watching, I don't know if you caught this, but rewind the podcast if you did not. When you were in the dumps during your dark years, during the 2016 onwards,
Yeah.
when your mom said, "Just come home and find a job," you found that offensive. If you guys rewind the podcast even more, during the first 5-6 minutes, we talked about you moving back to Chicago. And this is by your choice.
My choice.
Because you've proven something for yourself.
Yes.
This is you. Oh, goosebumps. This is you and you.
Yeah.
This is you and God's blessing in your life because you prioritized your family first.
Yes. And that was my biggest argument for the past few years. I didn't want to go back to Chicago because I didn't want to come back with nothing.
Right.
I still felt like I had something to prove. I still felt like I had something to accomplish. So I always walked around with
that chip on your shoulder.
big boulders on my shoulder.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I had to prove something to
Right.
people. And just the people and the things that have changed my life in the past 2 years have really honestly lifted that from me to where I can move and operate in more of a lighthearted, more relaxed,
Right.
more open spirit. You know, I'm present now. And when we went to Chicago, I wasn't even really thinking of moving back 100%. It was in my head. Ever since COVID hit, I was like, you know what? Maybe we should switch gears. But I want to make a sound decision on my own with no influence from anybody. I want to make it on my own terms. I want to make it on my own way. We go to Chicago. We do apartment viewings. We do all that stuff. Also, at the same time, I'm trying to schedule apartment viewings, condo viewings in LA. But for whatever reason, out of all the inquiries I sent out, no one from Los Angeles was getting back to me.
It's a sign.
Yeah, and I've grown more into trusting the universe and believing in signs. Now more than ever. And then for me to make the decision, like, hey, let's get this place in Chicago. We're moving to Chicago. And I was actually at peace with it.
That's it then, huh?
That's it. Granted, I still have my doubts in the sense that, like, the FOMO aspect, like, I don't want to miss out on what I could possibly be involved in here. But, you know, talking to some of my closest friends, you know, my friend Blake was like, yo, man, like, time's a luxury.
Yes, it is.
And your mom's in Chicago. And it's not like you can't jump on a plane
Yes.
and fly 3 hours to get back. I was like, you got a point there. And
your mom's not getting any younger also.
And she's not. And you know what? I see it. I see it a lot.
Single mom, single son.
Yeah. So she's getting older. Oh, I didn't expect that. So I made a decision for family. And now that I've made it on my own terms, I'm okay.
And we're okay.
And we're okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Vince Nantes.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Pinoy Pride, ladies and gentlemen, at its best. Pinoy Pride. Don't forget to subscribe. Powerful. Wow.
I didn't expect that.
I didn't intend that. Wow. Best interview ever.